What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Run It Up podcast. I'm your host, Najee Adams. You know, I got my guy with me here today, Jalal Sandy. We took a little 2-week break because we was like locked in on consistency. We took a 2-week break because I had to go to work All-Star Weekend in San Francisco, and I left on a Thursday. And I had work from 5 to 1 on a Wednesday. So we just couldn't record. And then that next week, which is last week, I was in San Diego on vacation. So it was just a lot going on. But we back. And we will not miss
took a whole Cali tour. Well, I'm over here like, well, when we recorded. Man's on the other side of the country. My
Shout
goodness.
out to Joel. He was holding it down, posting on the YouTube channel. He really was. I blessing the channel, to be honest. I hit up Khalil. I'm full transparency. Hit up Khalil. He said, "Yo, if you talking basketball, I'm not coming on the pod." I said, "That's insane." Shout out to Khalil. Justice was also a little busy, so he couldn't join us either. So it's me and Jalal today. We chopping it up about all things basketball. We're going to go through our top 5 sports games all time, give 5 bold predictions for the rest of the NBA season, look at if the season ended today, what the playoff first round matchups would be and who we think would win them. And there's a lot of talk like in the NBA space about just like how NBA media covers basketball, what people think of basketball, always comparing it to 90s hoops and how that was so much better than it is today. So me and Jill also have some thoughts on that as well, that we'll get into at the end of the pod. But yeah, lock in, enjoy the episode. Before we get into things, make sure you subscribe to the episode on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere that you find podcasts. Leave a 5-star rating and review. You can find us on TikTok at the Run It Up Podcast, on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. I'm on Twitter at Najee _. Jalal's at JSandy45 _. Justice and Khalil are in the description. And without further ado, song of the week. Jalal, start me off. What's your song of the week, bro?
My song of the week, it's not a throwback, but it's not new either. It's just a song I had been listening to a lot recently. Called Karma by Sir and Isaiah Rashad. Nice little vibe.
Beautiful. I've never heard that, and I think that's a ritual of the song of the weeks nowadays, because you guys always give these like real vibey songs, and that's just not what I listen to. So my song of the week is by Hurricane Wisdom. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. He's big on TikTok, I'll be honest. It's called Rose Gold. It's like a 1.5-minute song. I got a real low attention span. So
you love the microwave tracks.
Yep, that kind of music really.
My rice is done heating up by the time that song is over. Yeah,
exactly. I just need something to get me through the little microwave warm up, baby. So that is a great song for that. And without further ado, we could dive into our top 5 sports games all time. Now, these are not what we think everyone thinks the top 5 sports games are ever. These are Najee and Jalal's top 5 sports games.
Yeah. Let me explain the
yeah, please.
So top 5 vibes is not what we think is the greatest shit ever. It's usually our 5 favorite of something. So what I always do, because I'll start it off, I always give honorable mentions to cover all our bases, so y'all not in the comments cooking us. So
we're getting cooked for that Jalen Hurts video. Also, we haven't talked about that on the pod.
We got smoked. And that's fine. That comes with the territory. The Super Bowl is right around the corner.
I wasn't even saying he's trash. They're like, 3 guys that don't know ball.
I still think he's a little overrated. My opinion of him has not changed. I'll give him his props though. Like, he proved me wrong. I said to win the Super Bowl, he had to throw the ball consistently, and that's exactly what he did. But yeah, let's get right into it. These are any sports games, any sports you could think of. So a couple honorable mentions: NBA Jam, which I played the original in like a arcade, but the one that came out in like 2011, it was okay. The one in the arcade is a lot better. NFL Street, which I played as a kid, but I don't remember playing it that much. NFL 2K5. I have never played that game. And I know people revere it as the greatest NFL football simulation game that ever come out. And I understand I have never played that game. I wish I did, because the game was only like $20 when it came out, and I'm begging my parents to buy me some $50 garbage. College football 14. And honestly, I'm gonna throw 25 in there because I really like 25.
25 is on my top 5, gang.
25 is fire, bro. Like
I
it
don't
had
put
been so
time
long, and
into that.
yeah, bro. That's my most played game of the year for sure. For sure. And then I have Rocket League, which I didn't think that was considered a sports game, but it's kind of like soccer with cars. So
Yeah.
cool. Fight Night Round 4. I was gonna put Fight Night Champion on here because that's the one I played most recently, and that was the most recent one to come out. But Round 4 is that one. Like you could play with Muhammad Ali, you could play with Mike Tyson, and just all the heavyweights that we know growing up, Joe Frazier and Sugar Ray Leonard, like all these guys that really put the sport of boxing on the map. And then my last one, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw, specifically 2007, just because that's the one I remember playing on my PSP, and I had a blast with that one. While I catch my breath, would you like to give me your number 5, sir?
So I told Jalal this before we started recording. I couldn't come up with 5 that I don't even got honorable mentions. I couldn't come up with 5 that really was like my top 5 of all time. I so badly wanted to find a Madden to put on here, and I just didn't. There's no Madden that sticks out to me that I'm like, oh my god, I gotta put that one on here. If there was any, I just don't remember. Like if there was any Madden, I would probably say Madden 11. Because I believe that is when I became a Seahawks fan. And so I owe my Seahawks fandom to Madden 11. And so if I was to put any single game at 5, I'm coming up with this on the fly because I only have 4, I would put Madden 11. I think I've told the story of how I became a Seahawks fan, but I didn't watch football. And so the Seahawks had these neon green jerseys. And as a kid, I'm like, oh my God, I want to play with these neon green jerseys. That stuck out to me. And ever since then, I've been a Seahawks fan. And that has, so like, it just so happens that 2-3 years later, we were winning chips. So I kind of hopped in at a good time, but I've been through the struggle since then. So I think that I'm not a bandwagon, and I kind of owe Madden 11 my Seahawks fandom. So that's number 5 for me.
Okay. Madden 11 was solid. I like 10 better, but 11 was solid too. My number 5, this is an absolute throwback. Backyard baseball. I have one name for you and one name only. I know you didn't. Pablo Sanchez. Pablo Sanchez is the greatest non-MLB baseball player to be put in any baseball game ever. He is Barry Bonds, Babe Ruth, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, and fucking whoever you want, Randy Johnson and Nolan Ryan. He can do anything you want him to do. You want him to play center field, he gonna go grab that bitch off the fence. You want him to play catcher, he could do that. You want him to throw 99 miles per hour, he could do that. It was just a mindless baseball game, and it was very arcadey, and a lot of kids played it growing up. And I caught on pretty late, but Pablo Sanchez was in every iteration of Backyard Baseball because he's kind of like a legend of the series. So as a kid who played a lot of NBA and MLB and NFL games growing up, like Backyard Baseball was a nice change for me. And it's something that like one of the games that I've had the most fun with probably throughout my entire life playing games. Oh, one game I forgot to mention. NBA Live 05. Because that's not in my top 5. But the most fun I've had on probably any basketball game.
Who want to cover that? D Wade?
Melo.
NBA Live 05?
Melo. D Wade is on 06.
Oh, yeah, it is Melo. Shit. See, you was a gamer, brother. I didn't play that.
Yeah. Bro, NBA Live 05, you could play the entire All-Star weekend and do dunks. Put it between your legs twice, throw it off the shot.
When did that game came out in 2005?
Bro, that game came out 2004. Because, they come out the year before the title.
Yeah. Brother, the first
game that came out in 2004. This is 21 years ago. You can play a dunk contest, throw the ball off the camera hanging that's recording the dunk contest itself. Catch it in the air behind your back it was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun, and it was so many different dunks you could do, but you had to have a good dunker. Like you couldn't go out there with Steve Nash and try to do some Jordan shit.
I ain't get my first console until I turned 10. That was in 2008.
Oh no, I feel you, bro.
All of that shit.
My cousins put me on, man. Like my cousin had PS2, used to play that shit literally like every day.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll do my number 4, and then you can do your number 4. My number 4 is Madden 05, because it had one of the most Ray Lewis.
Shit, you're right.
Had one of the most important additions to football games in history, and that's the hit stick. I felt like before Madden 05, it was very like offensive heavy. Like the year before was 04. Mike Vick was the greatest player they ever put in the game. He could do anything you asked him to. It's like just pressing a button and it's 99 speed, throw power, whatever. They implemented the hit stick, and there was no more of that nonsense. And you throw that bitch over the middle, poof. Yeah,
that's like football culture too. Like
yeah,
that like changed.
Like somebody gets hit in real life in a football game now. That's a hit stick.
Yeah, bro. Like commentators say that. So shout out. I didn't even know that.
Shout out Madden 05. Shout out Ray Lou. And I think it was important that they knew, like, they had to put somebody on the cover that epitomized what the game was about. Like, the game was so heavily focused on defense. Ray Lewis at the time was winning Defensive Player of the Year, one of the best players in the league, went on to be one of the greatest players of all time. Mm-hmm. So shout out to them, because back then, like, covers meant something. Now it's just like anybody could get on the cover.
Yeah. For me, my number 4, I mentioned this earlier, college football 25. Now, I want to make it clear, I didn't play none of the college football games growing up. Never did that. I ain't even watch college football.
Yes, you did.
What college football?
We played 14. We had 14.
13, I did not have no 14. I promise you I did. Bro. I promise you I did. I did not have that. I played.
You 14. Didn't play Heisman mode?
Bro, I didn't have none of that. No,
that's nuts.
I didn't have none of that. So this is my first year watching college football and my first year playing a college football game. So I bought college football 25, and I wanted to start, like, it made me want to start watching college football. Now I'm locked the fuck in. I'm a Florida Gators fan. I bleed orange and blue, baby. So like, not only did it change like the way that not only did it give me like a game that I put hours into, it's easily my most played game of 2024, and it came out in the summer. I'm in like 2040 of my Gators franchise, like a Gators dynasty. Like, I put time into that game. It's really well thought out, like just from recruiting to even Ultimate Team was kind of fun to begin with. I stopped playing it because like then it just becomes pay to win, and I'm not dropping bread on Ultimate Team to play with Lamar Jackson.
And we started getting smoked online. But just niggas like Saquon Barkley in 2 weeks.
Like the level of like real detail that you can go into, and if you really want to, in your dynasty and in this game is amazing to me. And plus now I'm like actually locked into college football, learning players, I'm going through Florida's schedule. I watched every game they played last year. Like it just added a new element of things to do in my life. So I'm a big fan of college football 25.
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I love college football 25. I think there are some things they do need to improve on, but overall, like, I had a blast with the game. When the game dropped, I don't know when's the last time I had been so excited to play a sports game. Yeah. And me and my college roommates and a couple of their friends, we have a Sun Belt league that's like 15 years in. Yeah. And I had like UL Monroe. If you don't know, their quarterback's name is General Booty. And he's ass. But it's just it's crazy how like how much you can do. Like, we're no longer in the Sun Belt. We're now in the Pac-12 going up against like Oregon and Ohio State. Like, we moved teams around and conferences are the same. Game is a blast. I truly enjoyed it. I feel like we're doing a trend here where you're doing more recent games and I'm doing straight throwbacks. But I mean, hey, anything.
You ever had these nerds? The Valentine.
Is that the?
That's the Valentine edition, buddy. Yeah.
Oh no, I never had the Valentine one.
Correct.
The clusters in general are fire, but I didn't have those. You must have been hoarding them for a minute. It's almost March, brother. What was that? Your number 4 or number 3?
Number 4.
Okay, my number 3. This game has the argument to be the greatest sports game ever made. Shout out Nintendo, because Wii Sports is one of the greatest games, not even sports games, one of the greatest games Wii has ever made. You tell me a game where you could get your aunties, your uncles, your grandma, your pops, your cousins, your mom to all get up and play the same game at the same time. They could play some boxing, they could play some golf. Everybody wanted to play bowling. People didn't really play baseball like that, but I did. You could play tennis. Was that all of them?
I think that was it. The boxing. Did you say boxing?
Oh, and the boxing against don't remember the black dude's name, but he used to whoop your ass every time you played him.
The ball one.
Yeah, one with a mustache. Yeah. He was insane, bro. I think that game was just ahead of its time. The Wii in general, one of the greatest consoles ever made, and the Wii Sports is without a doubt probably one of the most impactful games they made, because after the Wii came out and there was so many.
There was no other console like it. Like there was no.
They tried to emulate it and they couldn't. Like PlayStation had PlayStation Move. They had the camera, didn't work. Xbox had Xbox Connect. That shit was garbage because I bought it.
Garbage. I had it too,
ass, bro.
I forgot about Connect with a K. Yeah, that shit was.
And then they tried to do like the Wii U, and even the Wii U. Like they were saying it was a more upgraded version of the Wii, and it just wasn't hitting like the Wii, bro. And honestly, like say you're living in today and you find your Wii, I guarantee you might not be able to find all those other games you bought when you were a kid, but guess what might be in that system? Wii Sports. Because I'm telling you, if you didn't play nothing else, the one you could always go back to was Wii Sports, bro. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. And there was no like, what about the Switch?
On the Switch, me and Chris just bought Wii. They have like Wii Switch Sports.
Oh, like Switch Sports.
They got basketball, bro. That shit is elite. Like you sitting in your living room.
Oh, it's nice.
They got like a 3-point shootout. So you be in there.
I gotta tell Des to get it.
It's tough, yeah.
That shit sounds fire. But yeah, Wii Sports, one of the GOAT games, all-time favorite. And I feel like every kid can relate that they played this game if they had a Wii. It came with the Wii. You didn't even have to buy it. It was free.
Mm-hmm. My number 3, excuse my munching. My number 3 is this is a throwback. I was thinking of these games, and I'm like, damn, this was an impactful game. I put hours into this motherfucker when we was kids.
All right.
Mine's is NBA Street Home Court. Now, I don't know if you remember this. It had Melo on the cover, Melo with the braids on the cover. Mm-hmm. I put hours into this, bro. I was spamming this game. And so for me, when I think back at like, yo, what games were most important to my childhood? What games can I not tell the story of my childhood without? NBA Street Home Court is got to be in there. So that automatically makes it a top 3 game for me. I don't even know if people know what that game is. Like, it's not a super. I don't know how popular it is, to be honest. I feel like I never hear people talk about it in the way that people talk about like Madden 04 or 05, whatever the one with Vic is. I never hear people talk about it like that. Yeah, like I feel like there's iconic games people always bring up. I never hear people bring up Street Home Court. So for me,
the reason why is because one, EA Sports Big, which was a company that made all these street, NFL Street, NBA Street. I think they had a FIFA Street. They went out of business, and then like all these games became a cult classic. Like it was one of those you just had to be there because you can't really go back and play them. But we'll get to that later because I got one of those on my list too, buddy. What's your number 2?
My number 2. Wait, did you give your number 3?
Yeah, it was Wii Sports.
Oh yes, my number 2 is NBA 2K13. Now,
okay, yeah, come on, tell the story. I already know.
I was going back and forth on a couple of 2Ks. My number 1 was locked, like that was easy for me. But my number 2, for me specifically, is the one with KD, Blake Griffin, and D Rose on the cover. And I remember when this came out, like that was such a big deal. I think it was the last one before next gen. So I think 2K14. 2K14.
It was 2K14 came out on that same like the 360, but then the next gen version came out the same year. Like the
Yeah, but
PS4 came out that fall.
It was the last one before they started dropping next gen games.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it was a big like swan song from my Xbox 360 and shit like that. So
now we put hours into that game, bro.
My team specifically, me
Nah,
and Jalal,
tell them what we used to do, please.
Bro, we used to do the VC glitch, gang. I don't know if you remember, bro, but I don't even know how you do it no more. But
bro,
it was like
I remember.
You have to let a game play through, bro. Like
no, not just one. He's not telling all the details. We sat there for legitimately. We were like, this is like the summer going into high school. Like, we were like 8th grade, and we didn't have nothing to do. We didn't have no job. We were just sitting in the house.
Nothing to do but game, baby.
Game. They're like, oh, y'all in the house? Yeah, I'm doing this VC glitch. What y'all doing? But we used to sit there like, bro, all day and just let games sim. And one time, my mom came in the living room and she's like, how you have the Xbox on? You're not even playing it. I'm like, we getting somewhere. Like this is for the end of the night when we gotta open these mods.
Bro, you don't understand, bro. We will hop on at like 9 a.m. Hop in the party, be like, yo, bro, we about to let the game sim. Let games just sim until like 10 p.m.
And go do what we gotta do.
Don't eat breakfast, go to the store, go wherever. Come back here like 10 p.m. Have like 100K VC and be like, oh yeah, we finna open these packs.
Like, but you know what the sickest part of it? You know what the sickest part of it is? We would open the packs and not get shit and do the same thing.
We'd be like, all right, we wanted some more.
If I remember correctly, the hardest person to get in my team was Allen Iverson. Like, he was the rarest. You couldn't get Iverson if you put in 10,000 hours in the game, because the packs weren't like they are now. Like, they were literally, you open the packs, you get a random player. But you had great luck. I think you got him. I was sitting there like, Then I'm getting Clyde Drexler and Charles Barkley. I'm like, nigga, can I get Iverson?
And that shit is iconic because it's the little like treasure boxes. And it was like a bronze one, a silver one, a gold joint.
Yeah.
Because that was before the auction market was a thing.
The market was a set market. There was no auction block. You couldn't trade cards. Yeah,
so you only got who you pulled. That shit was so elite, bro. Like, you used to put hours into this shit, bro. Like,
now that I'm thinking about it, that shit was ass.
It is ass, but like we thought it was
ass concept. We thought it was fire back then, but no, auction house is crazy.
If I could go back and look at how many like just total hours I put into 2K13, it's got to be something ridiculous. Like,
it's got to be at least 800.
At least
like something
like
nuts.
Days and weeks, like something crazy shit.
Something nuts.
So that's number 2 for me, bro. What was your number 2?
My number 2, the game that I think still to this day is the greatest 2K to ever come out. And we live in a world now where 2K is fucking garbage. It is absolute trash.
Is it 10 or 11?
It is 11.
It's
11. Michael Jordan on the cover. It was the first 2K to have Jordan in. And at that time, that was a huge deal. Like, Michael Jordan hadn't been in a basketball game since like 1999, bro. Like, it was so hyped up, and it was up on. We didn't even like think it was real. We like, they're not putting Jordan in the game. They bullshit. Then they dropped the trailer. We like, oh, he really in the game.
Jordan moment or whatever.
And then you start the game up. This was the best part of the just starting the game up for the first time, because it only happened the first time you play the game. It does the whole Chicago Bulls intro, like the from North Carolina, and it has the whole crowd going crazy. They showing the scoreboard with their highlight. Like, that's stuff like that is why we grew up playing games like that. Like, they put their heart and all their effort into these games, and they don't do that anymore. They don't. All they care about is making money. And there was no VC back then. No VC. If you wanted to make a my player, you got to make your my player and grind up them skill points, buddy. And then if you was asked, the NBA 2K insider was gonna come talk to you about how trash you were. Like, damn, bro, that was a bad game you had. And then on top of it, you see that some dude looking like Stephen A. Smith pop up with his afro, like, Hakeem Olajuwon once said, like, nigga, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm saying 2 points on 1 of 10 shooting in the summer league. They have to cut me, bro.
Yeah.
You could turn him off though. I think I turned him off after a while.
I don't
He
even
was
remember
like,
if I turned him off, but I know he used to piss me off.
I remember specifically like when you start my career, you had to play against like John Wall and DeMarcus Cousins. John Wall used to give me the business, bro. Come down the court, hezzy cross step back. I'm like, bro, ain't nothing I could do with that. Then they put you in a pick and roll. You end up guarding Boogie. Yeah, GG's.
I remember my players. I always made guards, so my boy, and I never grinded them out. Like that's why. I'm not gonna lie. Like when they put VC in the game, I was hyped because like I'm not trying to grind them. I'm not trying to grind them skill points.
I was grind house boy.
I was not grinding that shit. So I was always trash.
They had it wasn't like rec or pro-am or whatever. They did have crew mode, which is kind of like pro-am. But they had like a black top mode where you play like 5v5. And the wildest thing about this game, even though I'm ranting about how great the game is, people learned how to hack the game. So you could come in the black top and there would
have like NBA players, right?
You be playing against LeBron James, bro. And then there was other people who had like 20-foot my players. So the game will load and you just see a nigga crotch in the camera. Like you can't see nothing else. And he's shooting the ball and they're like, it's good. Like, bro, we can't even see the ball go in the hoop. He's blocking the whole camera.
Yeah.
But you could play like with celebrities in the black top. Like they had Snoop Dogg, Justin Bieber, Drake, Kanye. Like, bro. That game is insane. Like, I wish I could play it. Hey, he wasn't out yet. He wasn't out yet. He ain't hit his stride yet. But they had the Jordan moments, like you said, which was honestly impactful because they hadn't done anything since, and they tried to redo the Jordan moments. They didn't hit like before. Then they tried to do Kobe moments, and they didn't put the 81-point game in. Like, they tried to recreate what 2K11 was, and they've never been able to do that. They came close. I think 2K16 is a great game, and
is that where we was ranked
as well?
Is that where we was ranked in Pro-Am?
Probably, yeah. We had all the time in the world.
Yeah, humble brag. We used to be. Oh my god, we was ranked worldwide in Pro-Am. You feel me? However old we was in 2016, that version of us was
like 17,
unwinnable in 2K. We was running people off the court, boy.
17 years old. We get off the bus or get on the bus, and be like, "Hey, you know what time?
We in
3 o'clock."
We running plays in the practice joint, bro. Nah, we was elite, gang.
Yeah, we were nice.
But
what's your number one?
My number one was easy for me. If we're talking about games that actually impacted my life to be what it is today, there's no more impactful game for me than NBA 2K9. Now, it might not be the best,
bro.
2K.
Yeah,
it might not be the best 2K ever. It might not be what people remember. It might just be a normal 2K. It had KG on the cover, and it was the very first 2K I ever got. It's the very first 2K I ever played. It's the reason that I am a basketball fan. It's the reason I'm a Lakers fan. If I don't get that game, do I work in sports? Do I have my job? You know, like that. You know,
bro,
like
what's
I
crazy
can
is
pinpoint.
Like if you don't meet me, you never play that game.
That's
if you don't,
I always give you credit. I always give you credit for why I'm a Lakers fan. If you guys don't know, I got my Xbox when I was 10, and I didn't watch basketball or football. So I asked. The only game that I got for my Xbox was Soul Calibur. I was a real dweeb. So
that game was fire. That game was
fire, but like, okay, you know. So I'm like, yo, Jalal, what game should I get? Like, I want to get a game. And he was like, yo, bro, get 2K9. So I go to GameStop. I never played basketball. I never watched basketball. I didn't give a fuck about basketball. And so I went and I got it. And I'm like, all right, cool, bro. What team do I use? And he's like, you know what, bro? Use the Lakers. And since then, it's history. You see this man right here behind me? That's probably not there without Jalal. So shout out. You feel me? Shout out. And so for me, that is the most iconic game that I've ever played, because without it, I don't know if I'd even be living the life I live right now. So the 2K9 forever ingrained. I might frame that bitch. I might go get the cover and frame now just because I love that game. So that's easy number one for me.
You know a game is impactful when you can, like, you remember the songs from the soundtrack. There was the when you used to turn the game on. You remember this song like 2K
Sports kicking in the city when we in around town next door. Yeah, bro. I'll tell you, we was on that.
bro. 2K9 was fire, but it didn't have like I don't even remember if it had an online mode. Like there was no My Career. There was no. I don't even remember what you play on. You just play people online. You get your ass busted, keep it pushing. Like make a franchise and keep it pushing, bro. But no, that wasn't my first 2K, but that was one of the ones where like I wanted an Xbox so bad. Like I was playing 2K8 on my dad's PS2 for the longest, bro. And then my parents got me an Xbox for Christmas one year, and I was like, yeah, I gotta get 2K. And that's it. I don't need nothing else. We just gonna get 2K.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. I used to play I used to play with the Heat all the time. I smoked you with the Heat.
But I mean, hey, I didn't know the game of basketball, so you could.
I set you up, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I was plotting. I was standing next to you in GameStop when you bought the shit, brother.
But he just wanted to use me for target practice. Like,
I need to practice, man. I had bigger fish to fry.
Wait, so what's your number one?
So my number one, it is definitely the most impactful game to me as a kid, as NBA Street Volume 2. I didn't when I was little, I didn't like playing regulation rules all the time. Like I just wanted to do the wildest things and with the wildest people. So I played the first NBA Street and I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like, but you couldn't play with legends. I don't think you could, if I remember correctly. But in like the little story mode at the end, you play Michael Jordan, then you unlock everybody. In this one, you could play with everybody off rip. Jordan, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Dominique Wilkins, Julius Erving, and then they had this dude named Stretch, who was basically Julius Erving with LeBron James and Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson all combined in one. He's on the cover. Like they got Stretch in the middle, and who's on the left of him? Michael Jordan, bro. Please, for confirmation, please.
What is it? NBA Street Volume 2?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
The cover is Michael Jordan on the left.
Oh wait, this is Stretch that looked like Julius Erving.
That dude that looked like Julius Erving is Stretch.
And
then the dude on the right.
Who's on the right?
That man's name is that's Bonafide.
Oh yeah.
He was a dog.
Okay.
So you play like the story mode for this, and like you got to go to this park. And you got to play Bonafide. Then you go to the next park, you play this girl named Dimes, and she was nice. She would cook you, like drop you and then dime somebody up. Then you had to play Biggie Littles. What you know about going to Dykeman and got to play Biggie Littles, bro?
Biggie Littles is
great. Was like 5'3", dunking on people. The shit was nuts. But like as you go on, you pick up players, and then you go to the next park, and then at the end, you got to play Stretch. Not gonna lie to you, bro. It took me like 3 weeks to beat Stretch.
That's fine. That's a real game. That's real games right there.
I was like 6 years old.
Real hoop. That's good hoop.
I was gonna beat that shit, bro. Did not pause. But I was gonna beat the game, bro. I was determined to beat the game. But it to me, like if we were talking about regular games, this would be in my top 5. Like me and my cousin used to play this all the time, and like when he would smoke me in NBA Live, I'd be like, all right, bet, let's go play NBA Street, because that's what I know how to play, and I would smoke him right back. But yeah, man, like I wish somebody would make a PS6 2.
Yeah,
like a PS2 6.
Or just like a remake of it. That would be hard.
Like an emulator, like a PlayStation emulator where you could just play all the old games.
No, that would be tough. Yeah, before we started this, Joel was playing 2K14 before he hopped on the pod. So
I was living.
That's his bag.
That game is fire, bro.
Yeah.
It still looks great 10 years later.
And so that is our top 5 games of all time. If you guys have any opinions, if you guys have a story related to a video game, or you just want to tell us your top 5, let us know in the comments. But yeah, now we're going to dive into 5 bold predictions for the rest of the NBA season. We each have 5, so 10 total. I guess I can start us off. My first bold prediction is that the Western Conference Finals matchup is Lakers versus Warriors. I think that the Lakers finish as the 4th.
Who wrote that? Adam Silver?
No. I think we get
LeBron.
I think we get one final Steph versus LeBron series. Winner goes to the finals. I think the Lakers finish as the 4 seed. I think the Warriors finish as the 6 seed. I think the Lakers pack up the Rockets and the Thunder. And I think the Warriors pack up the Grizzlies and the Nuggets. Over the last 10 games, Lakers are second in defensive rating, Warriors are third. And you might be thinking, like, oh my God, this was such a random part of the season. They both made franchise-altering trades. The Lakers traded for Luka Doncic. The Warriors traded for Jimmy Butler. Lakers are 8-2. Warriors are 7-3. Lakers are 9th in offensive rating. Warriors are 6th. Warriors are 5th in net rating. Lakers are 6th. Like, they've legit both been really good teams since making their trades at the deadline. And so for me, I don't think it's that crazy to think. I think whoever plays the Rockets is going to the second round. I think right now that would be the Lakers. I think we end up jumping them to go to 4 and they go to 5. Regardless, we get home court, they get packed up. In that scenario, we play the Thunder. I don't think that the Thunder. Listen, I don't want to say anything crazy. The Thunder are a historically good team. The Thunder are a historically good team. They don't put that much fear in my heart. I'm gonna be honest. I like my matchup. I like our matchups versus Thunder. I like our chances. I do. If you're asking me if I'm taking Aura Man and Chet, or if I'm taking Luka Doncic and my GOAT,
Aura Man is crazy.
I'm taking Luka Doncic and my GOAT. I'm sorry. I don't know that the Thunder, if you're telling me somebody has to beat somebody else 4 times out of 7, I'm taking Luka and LeBron versus every duo in the league. Check ball. So they're going to have to beat my ass for me to find out, but I'm taking us versus the Thunder. And then for the Warriors, I think them beating the Grizzlies in the first round isn't crazy. And then they play the Nuggets. I don't know that they match up great with the Nuggets, but the Nuggets are also not the Nuggets of the last couple of years. Like, they have a lot more holes than they have in the past. And they're relying on a lot of guys to do a lot of shit that might not happen come playoffs. Like, teams going to play Russ different when the playoffs come around. We know that. Teams not worried about Christian Braun in the way that they might be in the regular season. So it's going to get a little tight. Granted, Jamal Murray might be the greatest playoff riser we've ever seen. But, like,
it's either him or Jimmy. It's either him or Jimmy, bro.
But I'm still taking Steph Curry. I think he is single-handedly the player that can hit the most demoralizing shots in NBA history. And throughout the course of a playoff series, like, he's the most dangerous guy that we've ever seen. And so that's my bold prediction. Lakers, Warriors, Western Conference Finals. What's your first one?
Damn, I mean, mine ain't as bold as that. But it is about the Warriors. I think the Warriors will be a top 5 seed in the West come the end of the year. They are 6-1 since trading for Jimmy Butler. And the best thing about it is Steph Curry is freed up so much. He's averaging 27 points.
40 right now.
I saw he got 9 threes. He got 9 threes. I saw the little notification on my phone. But since that trade, they have a 106 defensive rating and a 123.7 offensive rating. So, I mean, they're clicking on all cylinders. And I think what Jimmy Butler offers them is a guy who is, I mean, let's be honest. We sat here and maligned him for a month because he didn't want to play, but we know who he is. He's an efficient player. He doesn't turn the ball over that much.
Perfect glue guy. You plug him in, he'll figure it out.
I'm saying he can score if you need him to. He can pass if you need him to. He's gonna play defense, and his intangibles don't show up on the box score, but just his impact on winning, honestly, is still showing in even his older age. And I mean, he got his money and he's playing well and they seem to be clicking. I think they can get past everyone, maybe except the Lakers. I think them getting past the Lakers is the toughest part, but I mean, they can do it. The Lakers ain't barn burners. Luka's amazing. LeBron's amazing. Austin Reeves been cooking. But outside of that, you got guys who may show up one night and not show up the other, and that's fine. I think the Warriors have more guys who might surprise you and show up more one night than the Lakers do. And like you said,
they still ain't got Kuminga back yet.
I mean, yeah. He's not bad. And Draymond hasn't had to do much but facilitate and defend since Jimmy's came in. So I think with Steph just clicking like he is when he gets hot, we know he looks like the greatest player ever. And I think they might ride a wave of some type of rhythm into the playoffs where we've seen Steph get hot. We've seen Jimmy get hot. Like, who knows? I didn't think your take was too crazy. I don't know. It's tough for the Pats right now. It's a little tough.
Yeah.
And
no,
I don't see anybody beating OKC, if we're being honest. Like, it's
they are an insanely good team. One of my bold predictions is about them. My second one, listen, bro, the Cavs are legit. Like, I think it's very easy.
I agree with you.
To feel like, yo, the Cavs are a regular season merchant. When we get to the playoffs, shit gets harder. They're not going to be able to perform in the way that they are. But like, they were good before they got DeAndre Hunter. They are incredibly good, bro. My bold prediction is that the Cavs defeat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals, go to the NBA Finals. Since trading for DeAndre Hunter, the Cavs are 6-0. The lineup of Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen is a +20. They're number one in true shooting percentage, offensive rating, defensive rating, rebounds, net rating, and bench points since getting DeAndre Hunter. In the last 6 games with DeAndre Hunter, the Cavs have the highest point differential per game in the NBA at 23.3. They are blowing teams out. The second best team during that span is at 17.8, and it's the Pistons. Overall, on the entire season, the Cavs have an 11.67 point differential per game, which is second in the NBA to only the Thunder. If the season ended today, the Cavs would have the 5th best point differential per game in NBA history. Like, that crazy thing is that the Thunder would have the best of all time. Like, the Thunder
I think the crazy thing about where we are in basketball is that a lot of the times with the way that offense is being played, like, records are going to be broken every year. And I know it's crazy to say, like, oh, they're 5th all time. So you know that the Nuggets right now, they take about 32 threes a game. They don't take a lot of threes a game. But did you know that that's more than the 2017 Warriors?
Yeah.
Like, bro, the shots that are being put up are at an alarming rate. And I mean, I'm not one to complain about it's too many threes being taken. Like, I just think it's smarter basketball, if you ask me. No more long twos with your foot on the line. But we'll get to that later. My second bold prediction. I'm gonna be honest. There's no logic behind this one.
That's the best.
The Brooklyn Nets will be the 8th seed in the playoffs. I'm looking at the teams.
I don't hate it.
I'm looking at the teams around them. They are 6-4 in their last 10 games. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. There is no X factor outside of coaching. Jordy Fernandez has raised their floor and it kind of reminds me of when Eric Spoelstra used to take Heat teams that they didn't really have a star. They just had a bunch of guys that played hard. And that's what it reminds me of. Like, you got Day'Ron Sharpe dropping 25 and 15. And no disrespect to him. Like, he's no all-star. He's no superstar. He's not even like a rising young star. He's just like a decent player. And I mean, they have D'Angelo Russell, but he doesn't really play.
Yeah,
Ben Simmons
really does not play.
Ben Simmons is not on the team anymore. They've got like Keon Johnson, Cam Johnson, Nick Claxton.
Yeah.
I'm be honest with you, I don't even know who's playing point guard for them, but I know they've been playing well. Like, I don't know what lineups they've been throwing out there. I just know they've been playing well as a unit, and I think they're a well-coached team. And honestly, like, even if they don't make the playoffs, them not being a lottery or like a tanking team in the bottom 3 or whatever the case may be is great for their future. Like, having a coach that can put so much trust in their players that they play above their ceiling, like they just overachieve, is great for long-term future. Like, that's why the Heat are the team that they are every year. Like, they play better than they are on paper because their coach just elevates them to a level that they can't get to anywhere else.
Like, if I told you before the season that the Nets would have more wins than the Sixers post All-Star break, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
I'd be like, what reality are we living in, bro?
Yeah. And that's
like,
probably
they're not
that
far behind everyone else, though. Like, I'm looking, they can jump the Bulls. They're a game and a half behind the Bulls. I'm not a believer in the Hawks. I guess the Heat and Magic could duke it out for 7, but honestly, both of those teams are trash. I'm a Heat fan, and I don't think we're that good. We lost our best player, and I mean Tyler Hero's having a great year. Bam's having a pretty good year after the All-Star break or after Jimmy left, really, but they just don't have enough. And the Magic offense is still dog shit. Like
it's horrible. It's fucking horrible.
Still bad.
It's horrible.
It's terrible. Might be the worst in the NBA.
I think it is the worst in the NBA. It's fucking horrible. It's ISO ball.
And do you know how bad that has to be when you have teams like the Wizards and the Jazz and the Pelicans,
as I said,
haven't had their best players?
Warriors and Magic are in a shootout. It's 111 to 109. Steph has 49 with 11 threes, and Paolo has 38. They're going back and forth. So we'll see.
Yeah. Actually, let me turn that on. You go to your next one. Let me find that game.
Yeah. And so my next, someone else just made a 3 in that game. If it's Steph, he's got 50. My next bold prediction is the Thunder win 65 games this season. Right now they are 47-11, which means they have 24 games left.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but it was Steph, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Bro,
he has 49. Oh, he has 50?
No.
He has 49.
Yeah, he has 52. Now he has 52.
Oh, he has 52?
12 of 18 from 3.
It just didn't update on my joint.
Yeah,
right, cool.
he's wild.
So, I think the Thunder win 65 games. Right now they're 47-11, which means they have 24 games left. They need to go 18-6 over their last 24 games. According to Tankathon, they have the 11th toughest schedule remaining. So, not too crazy. Okay. It's not like they're top 5. It's not like they're bottom 5. They're kind of smack in the middle of the league. And I think the team with the best point differential in the league right now should be able to win 18 of their last 24. You might be thinking like, yo, 65 is even crazy. A team hasn't won 65 games since the 2018 Rockets. So like it hasn't been done in a while, and the Thunder are just hitting their stride, getting Chet back. They're 13-3 with Chet, and I think their only loss since he's come back, like in this last stretch, is to the Wolves, who are obviously like a pretty decent matchup for them. But I think that the Thunder winning 65 games would be pretty insane. But I think that they could do it this year. So that's my third bold prediction. What you got?
Which one I want to go with? All right. The New York Knicks. We're gonna stay in there.
I have a Knicks one too.
The great state of New York. The New York Knicks will not make it past the second round.
Oh, I got even crazier with my shit.
Oh, I know. I figured. I tried to be slightly reasonable because I was looking at like who would they match up with today if they played the Pistons. Be honest with you, I don't think the Pistons could beat them. I love what Cade is doing. I love what the Pistons are doing, but the Knicks are not a great matchup for them. My main reason for putting this here is because, and I've said it in the past, Tom Thibodeau is going to kill his players on the court. Josh Hart came back from an ankle injury last Sunday, and he played 40 minutes, his first game back. Karl Anthony Towns injured his knee mid-game, third quarter. They're down 20. All of a sudden, in the middle of the fourth quarter, when the game is already out of reach, Karl Anthony Towns is checking back in the game. For what, bro? For what? This is the same system you've been running since Derrick Rose's knees tore apart. And it is 2025, and you are still dragging players into the ground. And you wonder why they break down come second, third round of the playoffs. You're playing these dudes 38 to 40 minutes a game when in games that they really don't have to. Like if you're getting blown out or if you're blowing another team out, wave the flag. It's not that serious, bro. You're either going to win or lose. And by the middle of the fourth quarter, you pretty much know what's about to happen. There's no reason why Jalen Brunson should be checking into a game where you're up 25 and it's 7 minutes left. I've seen this multiple times. There's no reason why Karl Anthony Towns should play the entire third quarter and then start the fourth quarter and then be out for like 2 minutes and then come back in a game where you're getting blown out. And it's the Celtics. Like, this is not no bum team. This is the Celtics. They smoke y'all every time y'all play. I don't understand it. I don't get the logic behind it. There's nothing that has proved him right. It didn't work in Chicago. It didn't work in Minnesota. And it has not worked in New York. Is he ever going to learn his lesson? I honestly don't think so. I think the Knicks are not going to win a championship unless someone else is their coach, to be completely honest with you. A great coach knows when to pull it back. How do you, like, Greg Popovich didn't drag dudes into the ground. Phil Jackson didn't do it. Eric Spoelstra doesn't do it. Steve Kerr doesn't do it. There's a reason why those guys are considered some of the best coaches of all time. Like, you have to have some type of balance. Protect your players. Like, if I'm the front office, at some point they got to step in. Like, hey, listen, this is our future. We just like, we got Cap for what, 4 more years? We got to lock in. The dude was like 28, 29, and he's had knee problems since the end of January. I'm not even a Knicks fan. It just frustrates me. Like, bro,
I mean, I hate the Knicks, but I'll give you mine. This was actually my 5th one, but since we're talking about the Knicks, for me, my bold prediction is the Knicks are a first round exit. I think if the season ended right now, they will play the Pistons in the first round. They 1-2 versus the Pistons this season. Pistons are 11-16 versus teams with 500 records and above. Knicks are 11-14. I think they damn near might be the same tier team. I think some people think that's crazy because you look at the Pistons and like, who's their second best player? Malik Beasley. And it's like, what's going on? But it's like, yo, it's not like the Knicks have shown us that they have this mega ability to beat great teams that the Pistons don't. Wait, what happened? Steph did something?
Nah, they just showed this graphic. It says the most 50-point games after turning the age of 30. Steph has 9. And like
games?
Yes. 9 50-point games after turning 30. And like the rest of the list is like James Harden, and then Jordan has like 6.
LeBron not on it?
Nah.
Damn.
LeBron don't be scoring 50 like that. He probably scored 50 like 3 times.
Do more facilitating. I mean, he actually he
on the triple-double list, probably something like that.
That's a fact. But yeah, bro, the Knicks are 20th in defensive rating, Pistons are 11th. Knicks are 3rd in offensive rating, Pistons are 13th. Knicks are 6th in net rating, Pistons are 13th. 5 wins separate the two teams. It's not like they're this massive, this insanely better team than the Pistons, in my opinion. Now, and like you said, who knows what happens between now and then? Thibodeau like to play his players 90 minutes a game. Who we gonna see when them young bulls get out there and start that running? We gonna see what happened. Now, so yeah, bro, that's my bold prediction. Knicks are a first round exit. My last bold prediction is that the Suns finish with a worse record than the Portland Trailblazers. They are currently, and I think it's not bold in that like it could currently happen now, but I think it's bold in that like that's an insane sentence to say. Like when you look at the context of both teams, the direction both teams thought they were going in at the end of the beginning of the season. Like this is a team with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Tyus Jones. Like they signed Mike Budenholzer to be their coach. Like every single Matt Ishbia is very much so going for it. He's made that clear.
They tried to trade for Jimmy Butler.
They traded for Nick Richards midseason. They traded 1 pick in the future for 3 picks. Now, like they are doing everything possible to try and contend at this point in time. And they have 2 of the 15 best players on the planet. And that has translated to 27 wins. Now you look at currently the 11th seed. Playoffs end, the season ended today. They wouldn't even make the play in. And so currently the Trailblazers have nobody of a note. They're playing Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons and like DeAndre Ayton. And they have no expectations going into this year. The 26 wins for them is a damn good season. The season can end today and they clap it up. My bold prediction is that the Trailblazers somehow finish with more wins than the Suns. And that the Suns just flat out don't make the playoffs. I think it's a foregone conclusion. KD gets traded this offseason. So he'll be on his 5th team in his career. Thunder, Warriors, Nets, Suns. So yeah, he'll be on his 5th team in this summer. So we'll figure that out. And yeah, those are my 5 bold predictions. What's your last one?
So I don't know how I have 2 left, but that's okay. I had a question though. Who do you think has had a more disappointing season? Phoenix or Philly?
That's a good question. I guess I want to say Phoenix because I don't think yes, the Sixers are a game and 2.5 games out of the play-in, but I think the expectations were different. Like, I think even going into the year, they signed Paul George, all that. I don't know that people thought like, oh, this is one of the 5 best teams in the NBA. I think people coming off the Olympics, D-Book, KD, both going crazy this summer, people are thinking like, oh, these 2 guys on the same team, Suns are going for it. Suns, if they can stay healthy, they sign Tyus Jones. Like, they are a very, very good team. And I also just think the Joel Embiid, I think, is known for being like a playoff choker. I think he wasn't healthy coming into the season, so people were like, So like, whereas like the Suns came, they have no excuse. Like, at least for the 76ers, it's like, okay, cool. Joel Embiid has played 15 games this year. And Paul George is more interested in podcasts. Whereas like the Suns have no excuse. Devin Booker has played, I want to say, damn near every game. Devin Booker this season has played, I'm looking it up right now.
50,
he's played 52 games, and Kevin Durant has played 45 games. So like, they've played the majority of the season. There is no excuse. They're just not good. Like, so
I think the issue is like with the NBA now is that teams actually got to build teams. There is no more super team. Hey, let's just get the 3 best guys we know and build this thing. Like, no, most of the great teams in the NBA outside of OKC, but OKC did it through drafting. Like the Celtics, they got 2 great players and a bunch of other guys that support those 2 players.
They
the
also
Lakers are trying
teams. If you go back and look at the trades they did,
no, they absolutely
trade is insane. The Derek White trade is insane. Like some of those trades that they were fleasing teams.
But nobody thought Derek White would be this.
Like,
And then they took advantage of Kristaps' injury history to kind of diminish his value. And he was playing for the Wizards. Like the Wizards didn't want him. They were just like, here, take him.
They got Marcus Smart up out of there. Like they were cooking. Brad Stevens, he was cooking.
Yeah, he was cooking. But like every great team in the NBA currently has 2 outside of, I would say, OKC and Houston has 2 like all-star level guys. I think like the Lakers, the Clippers, even though Kawhi is not really healthy, like Norman Powell's playing at an all-star level, which is crazy. Then you look at the East, like you got the Celtics, the Knicks, the Pistons, Jalen Duren's like kind of in between being all-star level. The Heat, even though they're in the play-in, they got Tyler Hero and Bam, who have both been all-stars. The Pacers have Halliburton and Siakam. Like every team has 2 guys. Whether those 2 guys are good enough to win you a championship is what separates everybody else. Like there's a reason why the Celtics are so much better than everybody else. But there's just a new way of building teams, and I don't think every team is dedicated to doing that. People are still trying to wring the juice out of the big 3 era, and that shit's been dead for like 5 years.
Yeah. And what was your other
Yeah, I'm a speed through them. Cade Cunningham will be the best guard in the East.
Ooh. I don't even think that's that crazy. He damn near might be right now.
People will say Donovan Mitchell is better.
Yeah. Oh, you said guard. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, best guard in the East. And then my last one, if healthy, I put if healthy in all caps. The Dallas Mavericks will make the conference finals. Because I feel like right now, I watched the game on Sunday when they played the Warriors. They just don't have a center. Their center right now is Moses Brown. They don't have Gafford. They don't have Lively. They don't have Anthony Davis. If they get 2 of those 3 guys back, they're going to be cooking with gas. Like we saw what Anthony Davis looked like his first game, and I don't think he's going to look like that every single game, but they have depth at the guard position. They got depth on the wing. They plan to have depth with their big men and bring guys off the bench and swap them out. And you can put AD at the 4 if you need to and still have Gafford or Lively, whoever you want to have out there. And it worked. And then everybody just died. Like it's tough, but I think they have the keys to, really be a tough team to take out. And they're not far ahead out of the 6th seed. They're 1.5 games away from the 6th seed. They're currently the 9th seed, so they'd be in the play-in right now. If Anthony Davis decides he's coming back, or if he can come back, because I don't even know if they know.
I think they save and face, because if they say he's out for the season, that
But I think he could be out for the season. I think it's very possible he could be out for the season. But if he comes back 80-85%, I think like if they come in, all right, let's say they're I don't want them to be the 8th seed. Oof. Okay, let's say they come in and they got to play Memphis. They're the 7th seed. They got to play Memphis. They can beat Memphis if they're fully healthy. And then the 2-7 plays the 3-6. So you're playing either Denver or LA. You probably play Denver. I mean, that's a great matchup. Like Denver and a healthy Mavericks team. Jokic's been cooking AD for a long time, but I think the Mavericks.
I think you got multiple looks you could throw at them though. Like I think for us, we had so many problems with Jokic because like AD was all we had to throw at him. Whereas like if you're the Mavs, you could throw AD at him for 14 minutes. You could throw Lively. You could throw Daniel Gafford at him. Like you could just keep throwing different looks at him.
The way the Lakers played Jokic the other day, I thought was pretty impressive.
Hell yeah, JJ Redick.
Just basically saying like, yeah, Russ, we're not gonna guard you, bro, and we're gonna send help.
Russ
from the
and
back,
Aaron Gordon, we not guarding none of y'all.
We're not guarding either of y'all. And as soon as Jokic touched the ball, we send a help, and we're gonna force it. And then if y'all hit 5 threes, so be it.
That's how we lose. Yeah, but it's like I think my problem with the Mavs is that like even when you're looking at game versus us. Like there's no other person to create outside of Kyrie. Like
you saying right now?
Yeah, as of right now. But even AD, like he's not a creator. He's like you give it to him in the post, and he takes about 8 to 10 seconds to make a decision, and you kind of gotta move off that, you know. Like, and maybe that's just how we was using him.
Because I think a creator that's a big. It like everybody doesn't play like Nas Reed. Like Nas Reed gets up on top of the key and starts dribbling between his legs and doing heavy step backs. Like everybody just can't move like that. But I think AD was on a team where that's all he had. Like he had to create.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
In his early years, and I think he still has it in him. He just hasn't had to do it in a while.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen AD without a LeBron like for like long period of time for a while, and so like we don't know what that looks like. Right? Exactly. So I just think my thing with the Mavs is like in a playoff series, if Kyrie don't got it, you're sitting here asking Spencer Dinwiddie and PJ Washington to make some shake.
The shadow of Klay Thompson
to make some shake, and I think that's where it gets a little dicey for you. And they can go on some cold streaks, and when you do that in a playoff series, it's like okay, I think we need another on-ball creator here. But the Mavs are going to be a tough out for any team, bro, just because they can throw so many different looks at you.
They defend so well. That's the part of the reason why I said that. And then just having size, especially playing in the Western Conference, you need that.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of, I don't know if they fully embraced it, but a lot of teams are going back to like the 2 big lineup where like the spacing is nasty, but you make it work because you move the ball around. Like the Cavs have made it work.
Yeah.
Evan Mobley and Jared Allen can't really shoot that well, but hey, they got one of the best offenses in the league. One of the best offenses of all time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. It's nuts. Shout out to Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, shout out to Kenny Atkinson. And so yeah, that brings us to we're gonna look at if the season ended right now, what would the first round playoff matches be in the East and the West, and who we think would win those. So this is not taking into account the play-in. It is currently whoever the 8 seed is, whoever the 7 seed is who is making the playoffs, which sucks because that does mean that the Mavs don't make the playoffs. Now, I think that that's a little tough because they are currently the 9 seed. But I don't know. And maybe we could do a little, you throw the Mavs at the 8, whatever, take the Clippers out. But just for sake of the argument, we'll leave it how it is. So in the East, that leaves us with Cavs versus Heat. That's a tough first round matchup for Heat. I'm not gonna lie. I would probably take
somebody bring the broom out.
Yeah, I would probably take Cavs in 4. I would take Cavs in 4.
Cavs in 4, man. What are we talking about? Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give us 1 just because I'm a fan, but like
Cavs in 4.
Cavs in 4. Yeah, Cavs in 4.
That leaves us Celtics Magic. I low-key might say, listen, Magic go on a shit. If they can't score the ball versus the Celtics, is donezo. I'm gonna say Paolo get them 1 game, and the Celtics like to kind of like fuck off games here and there. So I can see them being like, fine, I have one. So I'm gonna say Celtics at 5. What do you got?
I'll say the same thing. Celtics in 5. They'll go up 3-0 and then be like, we gonna win it back at the crib. I got it.
Exactly.
But then the
So
Magic also have these games where they shoot 55% from 3 because they playing at home and they get the home boost. Like this is 2K. Like
they took last year's Cavs 7. Granted, this year's Cavs and last year's Cavs are two different teams, but like they went 7. So that brings us to Knicks versus Pistons. I talked about this matchup earlier. It was a bold prediction for a reason. So I would take the Knicks, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Pistons won. I would say Knicks in 6.
I'd say Knicks in 7.
See,
I'm high on Cade, bro. Like I love Cade. I think but does Malik Beasley keep playing like 2015 Klay Thompson? I don't know, bro.
I don't know. Yeah.
And I think the Knicks don't have much to throw at you once the rotation gets going. Like
their bench is horrible.
Their bench is horrendous, and they got Mitchell Robinson coming back, but like they don't have. You gotta hope Campaign drops 10 off the bench just to keep you running, or Jalen Brunson's ripping off his trousers and coming back in the game. Like it don't take much. Knicks in 7 maybe. I got them losing the second round. That means either they barely make it. Like I'm not high on the Knicks. I was like a month ago. Now, nah.
Yeah, I got Knicks in 6. That brings us to Pacers Bucks. I think this would be a really fun series.
Isn't that a rematch of last year? First round?
I think
Giannis didn't play though.
Yeah. I think it is a rematch. I would take the Bucks. If you're asking me to pick Giannis and Dame or Tyrese Halliburton and Miles Turner, I think the answer is clear. So I'm gonna take.
Don't do Siakam like that. Don't do Siakam like that. That's crazy.
That's all. He an all-star. He actually answered my question at All-Star Weekend. So my bad.
Shout out, Pascal. Shout out
Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam or Giannis and Dame. I'm taking Giannis and Dame. And so I'd probably say Buck. I think it's a good series. I'd probably say Bucks and 7. I say Bucks and 7. Who would you have?
Okay. I would say Pacers in 7, only because right now the Pacers have home court advantage. We know when the Pacers play at home, they play top 5 basketball all time at home. Every time they play at home, Tyrese Halliburton is Steve Nash and Chris Paul combined. Yeah. So I mean, we could do the Giannis and Dame thing, but hey, it's the Indiana aura over here. Like they just at the field house a little different. Game 7 at the field house. What you gonna do with that?
No, I respect that. I think it'll be a fun series. That would probably be I think Knicks Pistons would probably be my favorite series that round if it ended today. But
Knicks in the playoffs are just fun to watch. Like watching games at the Garden and everybody's lit and you got Cade cooking and they're like,
even just Detroit. Like Detroit ain't had nothing like this they've been feeling nothing but pain. But Danny,
I might have to change my pick. Giannis got 19 and 16 in 25 minutes. I'm gonna keep it though. Pacers is 7. Shout out Halliburton.
That brings us to the West. The matchup for the first round will be banger Thunder Warriors. If it ended today, I think the Warriors are a very, very good team. But the Thunder might be a historically good team. And so not even might be, they are a historically good regular season team at least. And so would I be shocked if the greatest point guard of all time and one of the greatest playoff risers we've ever seen came in and beat a young Thunder team? No. But I'm going to say the Thunder win in 6 versus the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm going to say Thunder in 5. If this series did happen, it would remind me of years ago when the Thunder had Durant and Russ and Harden. They were all young. It was like 2011. And they had to play the Lakers. And the Lakers still had Kobe. They had Powell. They had Lamar Odom. And I think, you correct me if I'm wrong, I think OKC beat them in...
us. Yep.
beat them in 5. I want to say 5. Or it was 2012. It was 2012. They beat them in 5. And it was like, okay, this is the arrival of the new OKC. And I think they're already here. Like, they've arrived. But I think people are gonna try to talk themselves out of them winning just because I don't know. Shea's not as likable as he was at the beginning of the year. People just think he's aura man, like you said.
Free throw
And
merchant.
then free throw merchant with
You
aura.
gonna get MVP though, so.
Oh yeah, that's my MVP. And then J-Dub. I mean, I love J-Dub. He got some tunnel vision, but it's all right. He gets buckets, he defends, he does all the little things. And then Chet is the difference maker. Like, I think Chet would be the reason why they won that series, because I feel like Jimmy Butler might be the guy to get J-Dub in some foul trouble. And then, but like, who's gonna stop Chet on that team? It's not gonna be Draymond Green.
No.
I'm sorry to tell you, it's not. And, I guess Steph and Shea kind of cancel each other out if Steph is on his game. But it would be an interesting series. I don't know if it would be fun. It might be one of like that Timberwolves Sun series last year where Timberwolves smoked them. Like, they got swept, but
it was a good series.
It was fun to watch. Yeah, like it was a hard-fought series. Yeah. Hard-fought 5-game series.
The next one would be actually a banger of a matchup just for like the future of the Western Conference. Grizzlies, Wolves, and Ja. It would just be so much good social.
We've seen that before.
That would I know when the Grizzlies packed them up. Yeah. So it would be a good little series. And I think that series was fun. I remember John Ant going at it, talking like, okay,
and Cat talking crazy.
Yeah,
Cat was talking crazy.
Yeah, and so I would take Grizzlies in 7. I would take Grizzlies in 7, probably.
Series,
yeah, that's a tough series. I would probably take Grizzlies in 7, though. I think the Wolves have the best player in the series. I just think the Grizzlies have been playing like a really good team this entire season. And honestly, in the entire Ja era, when the 3 of them have been healthy, Ja, Bane, Jaren, they've been a really good team. So I would take the Grizzlies in 7, but I think it would be a great series.
I would take the Timberwolves just because Ant's the best player in the series. And I think Gobert has looked pretty good this year. Like, he hasn't been bad. Julius Randle's still out, but he's coming back soon. Dante DiVincenzo's coming back soon.
I think he's coming back tonight, of course, because guess who they play?
The Lakers.
Everybody Super Bowl.
Jaden McDaniels has been playing excellent, like daily double-double, dropping 20 and 10 every night. Mike Conley's still the veteran PG that just keeps everything together. And then they've still got guys like Rob Dillingham off the bench, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Naz Reid, a bucket. Like, they got a lot of guys that can just play really well when everything's clicking. And honestly, I don't think Ja's healthy. I think his knee's been bothering him for a while. He hasn't really said anything. He just hasn't looked the same this year. And I think if he's not healthy, like, I don't see Bane stepping up and filling in that void. Like, Ja is a special player, and there's not much you can do to kind of fill in that if that's missing.
Yeah,
I would love that series. That would be fun.
If Jaren Jackson has to be the best player on their team that series, it's gonna be a rough series.
GG's.
Yeah. So that brings us to Nuggets Clippers. I think this is easy. Nuggets in 5. If you want to say Kawhi plays the full series, cool. I don't really think it makes a difference one way or the other, to be honest. The Kawhi that we are used to is no longer the Kawhi Leonard that plays basketball.
Unfortunately,
it has not been that Kawhi for at least the last 3 or 4 years. So I'm not taking the Nuggets to lose to a James Harden, Kawhi Leonard led Clippers. But yeah, I'm taking Nuggets in 5. I think they probably get 1 game.
I'll take Nuggets in 6. I think there's going to be a Norman Powell game.
Yeah.
And then I think Harden could get you 1. So, and Zubac, I've seen him like give Jokic trouble before, because I think Jokic struggles with guys that are the same body type as him, like big, slow, lard, fat dudes, like just guys that just take up space. He struggles with guys like that can keep up with him. So I think, he can get 2 games.
Last one would be Rockets Lakers. I'll keep this one short. I think Lakers in 5. I think the Lakers have easily the 2 best players in the series, and I think they got 3 of the 4 best players in the series, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm taking Lakers in 5. I saw some Houston fan was like, the Lakers can't run with us. Like, okay, sure, whatever. I don't know if you guys know this, but in playoff basketball, transition buckets get a lot harder. It's a lot more half court offense. And I'm taking one of the 2 best shot creators, 2 best playmakers, 2 best basketball players that we've ever seen walk planet Earth over Alperen Sengun and Jalen Green. So I'm taking Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 7.
Shit.
I think there is something to just being a young team and just running guys out the gym sometimes. And honestly, like, I know we just watched them lock up Jokic, but like Sengun is nice, bro. Like I like Sengun a lot, and Jalen Green can get hot.
You know who else is nice? Luka.
Yeah,
shit. You know who else is nice? LeBron.
Guess who's gonna be guarding Luka?
Yeah, you know who else is nice? Austin Reeves.
But guess who's gonna be guarding Luka though?
Who?
Offensive Player of the Year, Amen Thompson.
Okay.
Yeah, so Luka stopper. But either way, the Lakers go away. I just think the Rockets are there. I don't think they're ready, but I think they'll show like previews of what they can be in the future. Like I don't think Fred VanVleet is gonna, but like they got guys that can get hot. Like Fred could get hot.
Yeah.
Jalen Green can get hot. Sengun can get hot. Jabari Smith can get hot. Dylan Brooks. Like they just got guys that just out of nowhere.
We know what that matchup looked like. We seen that before.
Know. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what we think of the NBA playoffs right now. And then lastly, to end the pod, a lot of talk has been going on about how 90s basketball and old school basketball is so much better than the product we have now, and the night to night product of the NBA is cooked, and that's why the ratings are down, and blah 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 blah. So I just wanted to know, Jalal, your thoughts on that entire conversation, how the NBA media covers the sport that they talk about. Just break it down for me, how you feel about it.
Yeah, nostalgia is cooking us bad, man.
It's
like I think
hell of a drug.
Like all of this discourse started around the time that the All-Star game was coming around, and everybody was like, oh, you know, in the 2000 and 2001 All-Star game, like it was just so much more competitive. It was so competitive. Go look at the score of those games. They were literally doing the same thing that guys are doing now. Throwing Shaq coming down the court, doing in and out cross dribbles. The All-Star weekend was so bad that they had to cancel a dunk contest in the mid-90s because nobody was watching the dunk contest, and the participants were trash. Guys didn't know what to do. You had people randomly dunking blindfolded, people jumping over chairs and not knowing, just doing. Some dude did a layup in the dunk contest, bro. Like, even when Kobe won in 97, it was still trash. When you had guys like Brent Barry winning, no disrespect to Brent Barry, but like, come on, bro. Vince Carter saved the dunk contest. Yeah. Like, if it wasn't for that, there may not be a dunk, because David Stern was ready to abolish the dunk contest for good. And I think there's 3 issues. One, people say they like basketball when they really don't. You either really, really like a player, or you like how it used to be played and you're just not open to changes. There was times in the 80s when the game just wasn't exciting. Michael Jordan is the only reason why people were watching basketball in the 90s. When he retired, the ratings shot down. He came back and everyone was like, oh my God, Michael Jordan. Like,
bro, he took 2 years off from the sport. Like,
and the ratings
like none of this
way
happened
down. He went way down. He comes back and then he retires, and it's like the ratings go down again. Michael Jordan was the reason people were watching basketball in the 90s. But in the 90s, you couldn't play defense the way you can now. You could play zone, but you couldn't really double team because they had a legal defense. They had to change the rule of back to the basket because Charles Barkley's fat ass was for 10 seconds. And then on top of that, like, guys just weren't like,
this talent just wasn't there, bro.
It wasn't the same. But the game just wasn't that. But that's the part of evolution. Like, the game has evolved into something where everybody can do the basic things that every basketball player needs to do. Your 10th man off the bench can get you 10 if he gets hot.
Bro, I'm telling you, it's all nostalgia, bro. It is because our media is primarily run by guys in their 40s and 50s,
and some of them are former NBA players that played in the 90s and 2000s.
And when Michael Jordan and them was playing, they was 19, 16, 15, 14. That's their childhood. But we look back on our 14, 15s, you was just happier. So of course you remember that as, oh shit, basketball must have been better back then. When in reality, it was not. Like it was right now.
Yeah, it just wasn't. And that's no knock to like the basketball that was being played back then. That's just how things, like, no one in the NFL has ever said, oh man, I miss when Barry Sanders was out there juking and jiving. Like, bro, it's just the game has changed for the better. They've moved it towards a more offensive heavy system where you protect your quarterback, and the ratings keep going up. For whatever reason in the NBA, the legends of the NBA shit on the product that's current day. I remember when LeBron was coming up and they won their first championship. Everybody's like, oh yeah, good job, LeBron. Guess what? You still ain't Jordan. Then he won the second one. They're like, oh man, most people don't win back to back, but guess what? You can't three-peat. Like, it doesn't matter, bro. Like,
bro, the entire discourse is crazy. I think night to night basis, if you like basketball, you can tune into any game and see a good basketball player, that on every team. You go look at the Jazz, Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, good basketball players. You want to watch John Collins. You want to watch the Wizards, Jordan Poole. Say what you want about him. He's an entertaining basketball player. Like he is.
No,
you want to?
I'm glad you didn't say good.
No, he's an entertaining basketball player. Like I was looking at it, bro. In 1998. 18 players averaged 20 or more points per game. This season, 36 players do. Exactly double the amount. In 1998,
games were ending with teams scoring 50 and 60 points.
There's no way you're telling me more
in 4 quarters of basketball.
Bro, in 1998, three players averaged above 25. This year, 12 players do. Glenn Rice in 1998, he was an all-star. He averaged 22.3. You know who averages 22.3 this year? Trey Murphy. Come on, like what are we talking about? There's no way that you can look at 1998 basketball and look at basketball being played in 2025 and think this isn't at least as entertaining, if not more entertaining.
But it's the same thing with like 2000s though. Like go watch Kobe play basketball in 2006. Brother, he is catching the ball at the top of the key. One dribble inside of the arc. There is someone, his teammate is looking at him at the block, like, oh, you gonna give me the ball? No, he's gonna pull up and shoot it over 2 people. But the thing is, like,
long middies and
middies, contested
role
middies.
Players, role players taking 8 mid-range shots a game.
Like, of course, Kobe gonna shoot that bitch if Smush Parker is standing in the corner. Like, what are we talking about, bro? And they're like, oh my god, I love that ISO basketball. ISO basketball almost killed the NBA. People stopped watching basketball because Stephon Marbury was doing too much ISO with Steve Francis, and the Knicks were winning 15 games.
And maybe people's problem is that, like, the scores are too high. Like, hey, Norm Powell would have been the 4th leading scorer in 1998. It's like maybe that's people's problem with the NBA right now. But I'm sorry. I enjoy that I can watch a basketball game and not have to watch a plumber be the best player on someone else's team. Like I enjoy that there's parity in the league. I enjoy that the talent is at an all-time high. And yes, that means whether people were taking more threes or not, the scores would be higher because the players are better. Like that is just simply that.
But even if you just sit down and watch a bunch of different teams, everyone's not just throwing threes up for the sake of throwing threes. The Celtics, absolutely. They take about 70 threes a game. Everyone else has a different style. Like I'm watching the Nuggets Bucks game right now. Why is this game on TV and why do people watch stuff like that? Because of the storyline. You got 2 of the best players in the league, 2 international players, 2 guys that are always in the MVP conversation. But the problem is that like the NBA doesn't do that all the time. The Thunder are never on TV. They have to adjust the schedule midway through the year to put the Thunder on TV. You got, oh my God, Zion versus Ja. What year are we in, bro? Why are we still marketing NBA games as the Battle of LA? Yeah. That is pre-COVID nonsense, bro. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard is not playing basketball. Paul George is not there. So now it's just James Harden and Zubac and Norman Powell versus LeBron. Oh, great. Like, great job.
Bro, and
Wemby's not on TV enough. And then you got like these smaller market teams. The Cavs have been the best team in the NBA the entire year.
Televised games.
And they have never the only time they're on TV is when they're playing the Knicks and when they're playing the Celtics. If they're playing anyone else, they're on League Pass. On top of that, as two people that have League Pass, how hard is it to get some games on League? You got to have 5 different streaming services. That's what I'm
saying. It's like, come on, bro. And
so you telling me I got to have Max? I got to have next year, I got to have NBC, which is Paramount. I got to have Amazon. I got to have League Pass. And I got to have some type of ESPN. That's fun. Bro, what are we doing? What are we doing?
The people that say that every team plays the same, like, I just know you
don't watch basketball.
I just know you don't. Because even if you say the Celtics shoot 73s a game, that's different than what the Nuggets do. You can't tell me the Rockets play like the Lakers. You can't. You can't tell me the Warriors play like the Timberwolves. You can't.
Hey, I know what I watch from the Heat ain't what everybody else doing because the Heat are ass.
The Grizzlies have one of the most unique offenses we've ever seen. They play like no other team in the NBA. And like, if you're telling me, oh yeah, they play just like the Thunder, they don't. It's like that's not the case. That's just bullshit. And going back to the nostalgia point, bro, I think we are gonna 50 years from now, we're going to look back on this and be like, damn, basketball in the 2020s was way better than it is now, just because that's how people feel, bro. Like, even when I think about just like what nostalgia does, even back in 2016, when Kobe played his last game, the 60-point game, the talk after that game was it took him 50 shots to get 60 points. I will never forget that. People were going on and on about how it took him 50 shots.
Let's be honest about Kobe. The love for Kobe now was not there when Kobe was playing.
Now, bro, and like, granted, maybe Kobe's a different situation because he's no longer here. But now people look back at that Kobe last game and they're like, "Yo, he had 60." Nobody gives a fuck that he took 50
Nobody
shots.
cares that he took 50 shots. Nobody but even cares. Like, it's not even a Kobe thing. Like, Kobe got maligned during his prime. Allen Iverson, bro, they were calling basketball players thugs. Because they would walk into the arena with do-rags on and chains on. And this was before Malice in the Palace. Like, this was 2000, 2001. Just because guys are wearing baggy jeans and listening to rap music on their Walkmans, that they were thug. Like, that's crazy to me. And then the Malice in the Palace is like, oh, brother, we got too many black people. Like, come on, man. And I think it's a better like anytime it's just the culture of the NBA is so far gone. Like it goes from like the trolling culture to all these parody account leagues that just don't take. And I think it's created fans that just don't take the game seriously. Like everything's a joke, everything's a meme, everything's a parody of something. And there's not a lot of people out there anymore that really appreciate the game of basketball.
I think people just like to have an opinion, and the people that want to have that opinion are usually casuals. And what do they watch? They're not watching League Pass. They're watching NBA on TNT. They're watching Inside the NBA. They're listening to Shaq and Chuck and Kenny and Ernie say that the game sucks. So, of course, that's the opinion that they're going to fucking regurgitate. But I think it's 1,000% all nostalgia. And the last example I have is like, are you looking back at the 2015 finals where Iggy won finals MVP? And I remember people saying Steph was getting destroyed for that series. He was getting destroyed for that series. And now people look back at it and they're like, oh my God, Steph should have won MVP. And it's like, yeah, he probably fucking should have. He averaged 26, 5, and 6 on 44, 38, 89 splits.
He had one bad game. And the media was like, oh my God, Matthew Dellavedova is locking him up. Oh my God.
Iggy got it for that MVP. LeBron stopper.
Because LeBron was shooting 30% from the field. That's exactly why he did.
LeBron was averaging 36, 13, and 9 on 40, 31, 68 splits. Like,
okay. I knew his shooting percentage
from 3, but then he was putting up 36, 13, and 9, and he got MVP for being the LeBron stopper. Come on. Like,
yeah, man.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's a mix of nostalgia and it's a mix of media guys just shitting on the product when in reality the NBA is the only sport that does that. The guys on TV, like if you turn on ESPN, NFL, anything, they are not talking. The only time they criticize guys is like when Anthony Richardson called himself off the field, when Aaron Rodgers doing weird shit, when guys are just not playing football. If you're nice at football, you're getting praised. If you're nice at baseball, I've never heard Barry Bonds come out and say, yeah, that Aaron Judge brother, he's trash. Because it doesn't matter. Just appreciate what you're watching and embrace the new generation. Like Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez don't look at the current Yankees and be like, yeah, y'all just nothing like us. Y'all just don't have what it takes. Like, yeah, they're not y'all. Congratulations. Everybody can't be Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez. Thank you.
The just the content that other sports spaces, specifically the NFL, produce are so much. Like you look at they have Dan Orlovsky in a VR headset going through play-by-play progressions for quarterbacks on TV, like, oh, he's running an in-breaking route. If the middle linebacker comes in to rush, then he's like going through progressions, going through situations, trying to break down the game for casual fans. When you look at NBA, the closest thing we got to that on national TV is like Kenny Smith running to the board to break down a pick and roll. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, okay, great.
And then like the last thing is the NBA just ever since Adam Silver has been in the middle of his tenure as the commissioner, they don't market the NBA well. They're still hanging on to LeBron and Steph and KD, and like they're finally embracing Wemby because you can't ignore something like that. But how long did it take them to be like, oh my God, look at Jokic. Oh my God, look at Giannis. Like, oh my goodness, look at Christian Braun. My God. Anyway, he just banged it on Brook Lopez. But it shouldn't take you that long. Like in the NFL, when guys come in, they know who their stars are. When Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson came in the league, they were like, oh, those are the next stars. When Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes came in and Lamar Jackson came in, they were like, all right, boom, boom, boom. Now they're Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, like the younger every year. They just know how to keep even casual fans involved. You have NFL Red Zone where you could just sit down and watch people score touchdowns all day.
That's all I watch. I'm not watching full games from
I mean, yeah, I don't have the money to pay for Sunday tickets. So that's Sunday tickets.
Yeah, you tripping. But yeah, bro, that's our conversation on the NBA media. Hopefully, get us on TV and give me.
The best NBA media coverage is on YouTube, bro. Like it ain't even on TV.
Absolutely.
It's every basketball YouTuber that makes videos about the same thing that we're talking about right now. That's what you're gonna find the best content.
Easily, 1,000%. And so yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the pod. Hope you enjoyed this little rant we went on. I hope you guys
30 minutes.
Subscribe to the Run It Up podcast. Everywhere that podcast are found, leave a rating and review. Tell your friends and family about it. You can find us on Twitter at Run It Up Pod. Find us on TikTok at the Run It Up Podcast. Find me on Twitter at Najee Adams _, Jalal JSandy45 _ Justice and Khalil. They little Twitters will also be in the description down below. So make sure y'all go check it out. I hope you have a litty day, a litty night, a litty life, and just like we do in every episode of this podcast, make sure y'all go run it up.